Buying discount mac and cheese might help your wallet, but at least one brand contains ingredients so dangerous they've been banned in several countries. Kraft started the box mac and cheese craze back in 1937. The iconic Kraft mac and cheese formula has become synonymous with quick and creamy cheese-drenched pasta that kids love to eat and parents love to prepare. But popularity doesn't always indicate quality, and this massive player on the mac and cheese game board is one of the lesser choices you can make when trying to feed your family. Though it's a ready grab at almost every grocery retailer in the US, its ingredient profile is a study in questionable choices. There are a slew of chemical-based add-ins in Kraft's well-known original creation, including sodium phosphate, sodium triphosphate, and calcium phosphate. Though these are generally safe for consumption according to the FDA, anyone with kidney disease and bowel issues is advised to avoid exposure. Not a great feature for a mass-produced food. Even tossing add-ins into the Kraft blend to upgrade your mac and cheese won't diminish the fact that the base ingredients could be better, and in fact are better in some other boxed mac and cheese options. Still, some people swear by them anyway.
Kraft mac and cheese. If your parents don't buy it, stop loving them.
What can be said for Kroger mac and cheese? Here's one idea. You might as well save your money and buy a slightly more expensive version. There's nothing outrageous about the ingredient quality here, it's just a simplistic take on what mac and cheese can be. And if quality is the quest, Kroger is falling behind the pack with this basic box. Though the front of the package proudly announces no artificial flavors, preservatives, or synthetic dyes, you'll still find some pretty vague terms in the ingredient list. Both enriched Mac-A-Roni and enriched wheat flour are cited, which is fairly common for mac and cheese brands, but it's still unclear what minerals or vitamins are being added. More problematic is the all-encompassing natural flavors, a term which defies real description because it could be any of a number of things that you may or may not want in your mac and cheese. Still, even though the Kroger brand mac and cheese isn't great, it's actually not even the worst house brand mac and cheese offered at Kroger. For those who go Krogering, Smartway is an even lower quality Kroger house brand that aims for a less expensive version of boxed mac and cheese to spare the budget of its shoppers. It may serve the purpose of feeding hungry eaters, but it certainly doesn't take any measures to elevate your dining experience. Maybe the price point of around 60 cents should be a red flag that this mac and cheese isn't a top shelf selection, no matter how enticing the savings might be. Kroger's biggest offense is in the ingredients list, specifically the artificial dyes used to ramp up the neon orange color of the cheese sauce. With Yellow 5, Yellow 6, Yellow 5 Lake, and Yellow 6 Lake, Smartway mac and cheese is loaded with artificial additives that make you wonder what color the cheese would be without them. More seriously, many artificial colors, including Yellow 5 and Yellow 6, have been shown to potentially cause health issues, especially in children. In fact, they are banned in many countries, though they are allowed in the US.
I get itchy, I get raised hives, I get shortness of breath, an itchy throat, and I have to carry an EpiPen.
It can't be so difficult to find natural coloring agents that aren't on the do not eat list. Other brands do it regularly, so why can't this brand do it too? And while seeing cream and cheddar cheese in their real forms listed as ingredients is a relief, seeing an extra ingredient listed as cheese seasoning raises more questions. Other brands that use more natural ingredients are a better choice. Let's be honest, anything that ends in -aroni raises questions. Whether it's rice-a-roni, beef-a-roni, or the seriously groan-worthy Mac-A-Roni. It's all a bunch of simple stuff formulated to get dinner on the table quicker and easier. And that's easily confirmed when you flip the box and eye up the ingredient on the label. The recipe starts out promising enough, with the more obvious elements like wheat flour and cheddar cheese making early appearances. But then it starts getting into things like guar gum, a thickener that's innocent enough but not a necessary component of mac and cheese, and xanthan gum a bit further down. And between those, the presence of troublesome palm oil, a controversial add-in, the production of which poses a danger to the global environment. So that's not good. Walmart's efforts to keep up with bigger grocery brands by introducing near equivalence in its great value selection result in a boxed mac and cheese that aims to be an even cheaper copy of Kraft's mac and cheese. The decision to replicate a Kraft-style recipe as closely as possible means recognizable prep and flavor, but it also means the copy has a lot of the same nutritional issues as the original, and worse. The sacrifice in ingredient standards is clear from the jump. The Mac-A-Roni is a standard enriched wheat noodle, but it's the cheddar cheese seasoning combined with cheddar cheese flavor that rings the quality alarm. There's also cream, non-fat dry milk, and butter oil as part of the cheese quotient, none of which is actually cheese. In fact, nowhere on the label does there seem to be an ingredient that's just cheese. Customers who want actual cheese in their mac and cheese rather than some Frankenstein cheese-like product are better off buying a higher quality product. So what are those higher quality mac and cheese options? Beecher's handmade cheese is a company bold enough to put the title of World's Best on their mac and cheese box, and they're responsible enough to fill their carton with mac and cheese that holds up to the high quality test. This artisan freezer section creation brings more than just a creative recipe into the conversation, it also uses simple ingredients. The most complex item in the rundown is enriched penne rigate, but that's an expected foundation for just about every mac and cheese. The rest of the list is like a culinary poem: cheddar and jack cheese with water and butter, plus chipotle puree and a host of mindful flavorings like honey and lime juice. Good luck reading the label without your mouth watering. It's a restaurant-grade mac and cheese available in the freezer section. Yes, it's a bit on the pricier side, but if you're looking for a quality mac and cheese for a special occasion, Beecher's is just the dish.
Bless this highly nutritious microwavable macaroni and cheese dinner, and the people sold it on sale.
This ready-to-cook mac and cheese isn't from the Cracker Barrel restaurant chain, but rather from the subsidiary of Kraft, also called Cracker Barrel. But while the quality of Cracker Barrel boxed mac and cheese may not rise to the level of the stuff served at the restaurants of the same name, it still does a fantastic job of presenting quality mac and cheese for your home cooking needs. There's nothing earth-shattering about what's in the box, just a plethora of hearty, real food elements that make this largely wholesome iteration of the classic combination a feel-good choice. The pasta is enriched and the cheese sauce also contains paprika and annatto for colour, though you can find Parmesan white cheddar, sharp white cheddar, and cheddar Havarti. Add a sprinkle of nutmeg over the pot for a flavour upgrade to bring a bit of elegance that raises the profile of this mid-price dinner. Oregon-based Tillamook takes its cheese business very seriously, which translates into a high-quality boxed mac and cheese. This thoughtful recipe has a chef-crafted sensibility that the other boxes don't seem to aspire to, with simple steps taken by the producer that result in a well-crafted box meal. Leave it to a cheese producer to create a speciality mix that incorporates a blend of its sharp cheddar and Monterey Jack cheeses with oversized elbow macaroni to achieve top-quality flavor and density. The creamy sauce also uses a roux, a blend of flour and cream that adds thickness without tossing in strange ingredients. With butter, red wine vinegar, and even pretzel crumbs present on the list, Tillamook comes through with a high-quality mac and cheese that gives all the other boxes a run for their money. If your box of mac and cheese includes truffles among the ingredients, you're most likely in for a high-quality purchase. And if Sabatino truffle mac and cheese happens to be the brand you're looking at, you'll be getting an Italian-style mac and cheese that sets the bar as high as possible for processed food. Sabatino's line of truffle-based foods puts boxed mac and cheese in fine company, bestowing a luxury ingredient upon a humble dinner with intriguing results. This food producer doesn't get caught up trying to be impressive with the cheese sauce. It's a simple processed cheese powder that gives the noodles something luscious to swim in. The real superstars are the dehydrated mushrooms and black truffle. With garlic, pepper, onion, and turmeric powders fleshing out the flavors, you get an earthy step-up that makes mac and cheese a true main dish, rather than an ambitious side that worked its way to the center of the table. Annie's Homegrown is a brand that focuses on providing nutritious, ready-to-make food with children in mind. The company uses at least some organic ingredients in every product. Most of the remaining ingredients are recognizable whole food elements, with a few familiar additives included for shelf stability. This makes reading the label on Annie's classic cheddar mac and cheese a refreshing change of pace from the usual chemical formula offered by mass-produced food items, and places this winsome box squarely in the high-quality category. Organic wheat features in Annie's Mac-A-Roni, which gets the quality comparison off to a very fine start. A blend of whey, cream, cheese, and butter help matters by making a sauce with easily recognized features. Non-fat milk and annatto for coloring make appearances as well. There do appear to be unnamed natural flavors used as well, but with so many high-quality elements outweighing this, the unexpected presence isn't enough to diminish the thoughtful composition the family-friendly Annie's mac and cheese offers. As one of the most creative health food brands on the market, Amy's has done a great deal to create a stellar reputation for offering quality products. Having mac and cheese among its portfolio is an inspired move that introduces eagle-eyed shoppers to a more mindful way to enjoy a dish that's as nourishing as it is soothing. Every ingredient on the back of Amy's frozen macaroni and cheese is a recognizable food item, from the unbleached Durham wheat flour and water that make up the organic pasta to the organic milk, butter, and white cheddar in the cheese sauce. There's nothing on the list that doesn't belong in mac and cheese, with only 7 actual ingredients in total. This box meal is a whole food find for mac and cheese lovers. Plus, there's a gluten-free version as well, so what's not to love?
We can continue to create wonderful, delicious foods and make people's lives easier and for them to eat well.
Goodles may not be a brand you've heard bouncing around your grocery shopping circles, but after perusing the company's webpage proclaiming the healthy aspects of its cheddar mac, you may be the one to introduce your fellow shoppers to this high-quality supper sensation. What makes Goodles cheddar mac such a special selection? How about pasta that uses both wheat and chickpea flour for added protein? Or maybe it's the nutrient rundown, which lists 10 plant-based power foods like pumpkin, kale, and mushrooms, all tossed in to elevate the nutritional profile. Of course, the use of real butter and cheese are high points as well, as are the 23 vitamins and minerals listed in addition to the whopping 15 grams of protein in each prepared serving. And for gluten-sensitive eaters, there's a gluten-free alternative available too. When this enticing high-quality inclusion in the mac and cheese collection is available at most major grocery retailers for under $3 a box, it's a no-brainer.